Good morning, Bucknutters. Welcome to the Bucknuts Morning 5 here on Tuesday, December 29th, 2015. I am Dave Biddle, and I am joined by the one and only Duane Long. Duane, Ezekiel Elliott was cited for a car accident on Sunday before the Buckeyes left for Phoenix. He was also driving with a suspended license. Ohio State says his status is unchanged for the Fiesta Bowl. A lot of people wondered if he might be suspended. He's not suspended. He's probably not even going to miss the first series. I think he's going to start the game, and I think that's the way it should be. What are your thoughts, Duane?
I think it's utterly ridiculous that we're even talking about this. They suspend your license for anything now. I mean, an unpaid parking ticket is enough to have your license suspended. Absolutely ridiculous that we're having this conversation. It is not like he's got multiple DUIs and moving violations, and he got in a car wreck. It happens. So anybody calling for him to be suspended for this game, not really. Don't tell me you're a Buckeye fan. That's just not. That should not happen, Dave. End of story.
Yeah, I agree with you, my man. Let's switch gears. Darren Lee, is there any chance he comes back next year? He's only a third-year sophomore, but reading the tea leaves, man, it sounds like he's gone to me. That's just my take. Do you think there's any chance Darren Lee could come back next year?
I don't really think so. I think he's going to get a first-round grade. All his buddies are leaving. There's so little reason for him to come back. It's not going to be a year where they can be in the championship hunt. Last year they won it. This year they had the shot and blew it, or at least the coaches blew it. I don't think he comes back to be part of a rebuilding effort. He's been through so many championships, and now he's going to finish off his career playing Notre Dame. So I just don't see it. No, I think he's going to get that first-round grade.
Dontre Wilson, we had a note in the boarding house yesterday that he quit the team briefly and thought better of it, changed his mind, came back. Coaches welcomed him back. He was left off the initial depth chart for the Fiesta Bowl, and Ohio State publicly said, that was just a mistake, human error. Not so much from what we're told from multiple sources. He actually did quit the team briefly, and this is nothing new. I've seen this time and time again. I know you have too as well, Duane, including earlier this year. Torrance Gibson quit the team briefly and came back. Last year, Corey Smith quit the team briefly, came back, and had a real good run in the postseason for the Buckeyes on the way to the national championship. Chris Fields back in Urban Meyer's first year, 2012, he quit the team, came back. Thaddeus Gibson, 2008, quit the team, came back. Robert Smith quit the team for an entire year in 1991, my good friend Robert Smith, and came back in 1992. So we've seen this time and time again. Your thoughts on Dontre Wilson? Do you think this is anything to be concerned about going forward? And just your take on this whole situation.
Well, I don't think it is. Players do. They get emotional. They're not playing. They've got expectations of themselves, and they're not being met. Sometimes they get upset, and they do things. And the immediacy of Twitter, 10 years ago we wouldn't have heard about this. But now the immediacy of Twitter, kids get mad, they go and they talk on social media, and bang, we've got a situation. It sounds like he didn't even talk to the coaches first. He just quit. And he's back on the team. It's no big deal. It shouldn't be a big deal. I just wonder why he quit in the first place. Does that tell us something about Jalen Marshall, that Jalen Marshall's coming back? Because if Jalen Marshall's not coming back, Braxton Miller's graduated, well, looks like Wilson will be next in line. So maybe Marshall is coming back. I hope that he is. Maybe that's a sign that with Wilson quitting. But as far as Wilson's concerned, no big deal. There's just nothing, much ado about nothing.
DeShone Kizer continues to give bulletin board material to the Buckeyes. I'm sure you've chimed in on this. I just haven't heard your take on it. A young man that I know for a fact, because we had him on the old Front Row radio show, as I said on yesterday's Bucknuts Morning 5, and I remember him telling me how much of an Ohio State fan he was. He really wanted an Ohio State offer, and now he's saying he did not grow up an Ohio State fan. In fact, he grew up rooting for that team up north, as he called them. You're not going to call them that team up north if you're a Michigan fan. That's what Ohio State fans call them. So probably sour grapes on his part, and but it's bulletin board material for the Buckeyes, so I kind of like it. Gamesmanship gives the Buckeyes some motivation maybe for a game where some people think they might lack some motivation. Your thoughts on DeShone Kizer's comments, Duane?
Well, I just say boo-hoo, you didn't get a Buckeye offer. That's what all this is about. We know that the kid did not get the offer. He wanted one. I remember when he played, thought he was a good high school football player. Wasn't sure that he could be a quarterback. He's actually better than I thought he would be. But I just don't understand why he's got to bring all this back up. You're the Notre Dame quarterback. What's the problem? All he's doing is making himself a target, and I guarantee you this defensive line is going to tee off on him. They're going to come after him, and they might lay an extra lick on him, or drive into him a little bit harder, just to drive the point home that you don't do what you're doing. You're an Ohio kid too, and we know that you could probably pull up those interviews, Dave, where he said those things about wanting to be a Buckeye, and now he never even cheered for Ohio State. Come on, man, you're looking silly. Stop it, and stop putting a bullseye on yourself.
Big day of interviews today here in Phoenix. Ezekiel Elliott is on the list, Duane. I hope they keep him on the list. We'll also get all of the starters, including Ezekiel Elliott, tomorrow here in Phoenix for Media Day. But today, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, 9:30 a.m. local time, we're scheduled to interview Ezekiel Elliott, Ed Warner, Taylor Decker, J.T. Barrett, Mike Thomas, and Pat Elflein. Wouldn't shock me to see them take Zeke off this list, but we'll see. Hopefully they leave him on there again. If we don't get him today as scheduled, we will get him tomorrow. So once again, Ed Warner, Taylor Decker, Ezekiel Elliott, J.T. Barrett, Mike Thomas, Pat Elflein will all be interviewed today here in Phoenix at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We will have wall-to-wall coverage on Bucknuts. Thanks as always to the wisdom of Duane Long. I appreciate it, my friend. And thanks to you, the listeners, for tuning into the show. I appreciate that as well. Hope you have a great day. Take it away, best damn band in the land.